Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible, right? Okay. Welcome to Wiki's class. In the last class, we have gone through how to design a controller. That means a compensator using root locus technique. Basically, in that, what we have learned is you will be given with a. Let me share my screen. One second. So basically, you will be given with a open loop transfer function G of S and time domain specifications like settling time and overshoot, maximum overshoot NP and settling time PS. So what you have to do is these are the transient response statistics. Uh, Transient response specifications. So you have to design a controller such that your overall system satisfies those transient response characteristics, right? This is G of S, which is given to you, and you are designing a controller GC of S such that the overall system characteristics. That means we are approximating the overall system by a dominant pole, such that the dominant that means that dominant pole satisfies the given transient characteristics, and the remaining poles are placing far away from this dominant pole, like that, usually 5 to 6 times away from the dominant pole. That is what we are actually doing. For that, we design a lead compensator, right? So what are the steps? Basically, first step is you given a time domain specification. We translate that into a desired pole location SD by using the MT given maximum overshoot. We will calculate zeta from this, and then zeta with TS we will calculate omega n, so that we will compute uh, desired pole, which is minus zeta omega n plus or minus j into omega n square root of 1 minus zeta square. So this is our dominant pole. So we designing a lead compensator such that your overall closed loop system poles have one dominant pole that is matching to this SD, and the remaining poles are away from the dominant pole. So what we are doing is, once we have compute the SD from the transient characteristics, then what to do is we will check immediately whether SD is on the root locus of the given transfer function, right? Check if SD is on root locus. If it is yes, then it directly calculate the k at that point. What is the k? Then simple proportional controller, that means G of S. If yes, then your controller will be simple proportional controller k. Just calculate the k. That is your controller. If not, what you do is you calculate angle deficiency. Angle deficiency phi. Then with that, and also you calculate theta. Theta is nothing but cos inverse theta, where theta is already found here. So using these two, what you calculate gamma That you remember that plot and all, right? You are having 0, and this is your dominant pole SD, and this is your theta. Then this is your ZC and PC. I think this is PC and this is ZC. So you calculate first gamma. This is gamma. Then this is your phi. This is the angle deficiency provided, should be provided by this 0 and pole. So then we calculate first gamma using some empirical formula, that is pi by 1 by 2 into pi minus theta minus phi. Then you calculate ZC and PC, right? So once you calculate, then overall transfer function will be your compensator transfer function. It will be dc of s is equal to k into s plus zc by s plus pc, and you compute k by using the magnitude criteria. So this is how you do, but actually this gamma that is maximizing this lambda, what is gamma, let me go through the slides once again. That's gamma maximizing alpha. Alpha is nothing but ZC by PC, right? So, but it does not guarantee that place whatever the pole ZPC, whatever the remaining poles in the over root locker, that is far away from desired pole. So we need to check once you have calculated overall closed loop response, that is uh, K into GC of S into G of S divided by 1 plus K into GC of S into G of S. This is your characteristic equation, right? You have to calculate the poles of this equation, roots of this equation. Then obviously the dominant root should be your SD, and the remaining roots we have to verify whether it is satisfying the around far away from this dominant pole. So that is how you have to validate again. Okay, if it is not there, then you need to adjust the parameters slightly, this ZC and PC, so that those remaining poles are far away from the SD. So that is how you calculate the. This is how you design the lead compensator. So that is fine. But what is we need other than this fast speed of the response and the transient response, whatever this is, we also interested in steady state error also, right? How the system is tracking the desired input. Whatever the input you are giving, it has to track that input. So that for that we need to have maintain a that steady state error should be as small as possible. So that for that we use lag compensator. We also know, right? We know, right, when the system. Let's walk through these slides. Then you will understand what I'm going to say. Yeah, this is. um in the last, we have already discussed, gone through this example of designing um, a lead compensator for those for the specifications given. MP is less than 16.5% and the time, settling time should be less than 6 seconds. For that, that we when once you translate that into dominant pole location, this is the 0.67 and J1.1 is the your desired poles, right? SD. Now, what we have to do immediately, we need to check whether this SD is on the root locus or not. So if it is on the root locus, then directly we can find out the K at that point. That means that where the root locus is passing through that desired location. That's it. But what about the steady state error? Steady state specification means how efficiently the desired controller or overall system is tracking the desired input. So this is steady state errors are usually specified with Kp, Ka, and uh, position constant and velocity error constant and acceleration error constant, right? Because this will translate into again steady state error. If it is a Kp, that means 1 by steady state error is 1 by K plus P or 1 by Kv or 1 by Ka. So these all are the corresponding steady state errors correspond to the type of the system. So, uh, Kv in this case is if you calculate Kv, where limit K s tends to 0, S g of s, this turns out to be 1.02. So that means your steady state, your error is steady state error is 1 by kV. That is equal to something we are getting like this. So what additionally impose? Suppose if I want to, my requirement is kV is greater than 10. That means you want only 1%, 0 point. This means here is roughly 1. 1 means it is a the error is 1, right? Now, suppose if I want kV is greater than 10, that means less than 10% of my error. So, in that case, how do you design? So, one possible thing is you can add integrator, integral controller. Integral control means simply put what K by S, right? Ki by S. That means it will change the type of the system. If it is a type 0 system, it will change it to type 1 system, or that means it increases the type of the system by 1. So in this example, this is already type 1 system, so it making it to type 2 system. So for the type 2 system, what about the steady state error? We already know that the for type 2 system, the kV is equal to infinity, right? So that means kV infinity means steady state error is 0. So for so that means it is satisfying. Your integral controller is satisfying your steady state error. KV is infinity means greater than 10. It's already satisfying, and steady state error is also 0 for velocity input. But what about the stability? Suppose if you plot root locus for this one, that means if you add integral controller, that means 1 by s, if you add extra, then your root locus will be like this. You can check this in the MATLAB also. So it will be like this. So in this case, that means the system is already unstable. So this is not we wanted, right? So we have to improve our objectives. We have to improve the steady state behavior, as well as it should be satisfy the transient performance also without altering transfer transient performance. So in that case, what we do is we design a lag compensator. Lag compensator in the sense, let's say for example, we can write this one, right? The numerator polynomial by denominator polynomial. This is the product of, this is S actually. So product of zeros divided by product of poles, where kV is nothing but limit s tends to 0, kg of s, that is equal to k into product of ji by ps. Now the transient specifications we want to be maintained as desired. That means first we calculate the desired closed loop pole SD, and if that is already in the satisfactory and that is already in the root locus, so what we have to do is we design a lag compensator without altering the transient behavior. That means you keep the SD like that, but yet you have to reduce the steady state error. So that's your argument. So in that case, what we do is we keep a pole instead of origin. We just keep close to origin. So this PZ is close to origin, and the ZP minus ZC we design such that the angle that will contributed by this transfer function is negligible, so that whatever we have already designed, whether it's a lead compensator or proportional compensator correspond to the desired specifications. Without disturbing that configuration, we will add poles and zeros so that the angle contributed with this is negligible. That way we design. So this is the strategy for designing a lag compensator. So what in the lead compensator, what we are having? We are having a zero close to origin and pole far away from this one, right? Because zero is actually this eliminates the transient. It actually reduces overshoot and all. It improves the transient characteristics responses. Where that's the reason we keep this one as the dominant. Zero is the dominant, and pole is placed far away from that because that effect is negligible. Because pure proportional controller we can't implement, so we will add a pole close to that one. Here in this case, in case of lag compensator, what we are doing is instead of pure integrator, we are placing a pole close to the origin, and we are adding a zero away from origin, but it is not far from origin, but it is far from pole, but it is as much as possible to the pole. Why? Because it should not disturb your transient characteristics which we have already achieved using either a proportional controller or lead compensator. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear? The concept of lag compensator is clear to you, or otherwise shall I repeat? Okay. So the next step is how do you choose beta? Beta is nothing but your ratio of beta is nothing but Zg by Pz. So how do you choose this beta? So this is your design parameter. Once you choose this one, and let's assume one parameter Zc, then the other we can automatically calculate that one. So zeta will be calculated by using steady state error requirement. Like that is, we already given with some requirement, right? The system will have, for example, kV is the steady state error constant. So this is what required and desired. So given this is um desired, kV is desired in this case is some greater than 10, something they has given, right? And also what is the kV for the design, whatever for the already given system. So that kV is kV, small kV is already given system. Then calculate the ratio of these two, that gives your beta. So once you compute to beta, then we have to choose ZP and PZ appropriately. So what we do is we will actually choose ZZ is close to the origin and compute PZ. PZ is nothing but ZG by beta. So let us take here one example is given. So in the in this example, the the kV desired kV is 10. That means your steady state error should be 0.1. That means 10% of 10% should be your steady state error. This is the requirement. It should be less than 10%. So what we do is first you computed K based on that desired MP and settling time, that is overshoot and settling time. First you calculate ST, and then ST we check that ST is on the root locus. Since it is on the root locus, the corresponding K is this one. That means your transient characteristics are satisfying. These all are satisfied for this K value. Next step is we have to eliminate error. That is your desired error velocity error constant is kV is 10, but what is the existing one? Existing one is it is equal to 1.03. How you got this one? By using k into g of s limit s tends to 0, because here the controller is only k, so the k into g of s limit s tends to 0, that is equal to 8.25 by 8, 2 into 4, right, which is equal to 1.02. So this is already existing kV, and desired kV is this one. Then you calculate beta. Beta is equal to kV desired by kV, already existing kV, that is equal to 10 by 1.03. Then you will get kV is approximately 10. Right? Once you got kV, then you select ZZ, that is equal to 0. That is close to origin. But actually, the usual uh, um, rule is, there is a thumb rule for this one. Placing ZZ is already usually 10 times, 1 decade below the real part of the desired pole. Let us suppose your ST is 0.67 plus or minus something is there, right? That's 0.667 plus or minus J 1.5, 1.15. So if this is the ST and the real part is this one. So usually ZC, there is two ways. One is you can directly take 0.1, or otherwise 10 times the real part of desired pole. That means it is 0.00667. Okay, this is another some books actually follow this kind of notation, or otherwise you can use this one. If it is not satisfied, then you can change the ZC and compute again PC corresponding to that. Okay, now PZ is equal to ZG by beta, that is equal to, because here we have chosen beta is 10 and ZG is 0.1, then P is equal to 0.1 by 10, that is 0.001. The resulting controller is this one. That means this is your lag compensator. With this choice, the GC is equal to 0.961. This is close to 1. That is what actually we are interested in. This is one thing. This is always the gain of this system is 1, and the angle is negligible. It should be almost 0. It should be like that. That's why, so that it won't disturb the original system. Original system overall transfer function, that means 1 plus GH of C, GC of S and G of S equal to 0. That means this is have a magnitude 1 and angle 180 degrees, right? So if you choose this one like this, with this lag compensator, then that should be actually roughly 1, and the angle added contributed by this compensator is close to 0. Then this won't disturb this has the minimal effect on the overall system transient response. So the drawback here actually, now if you see that overall system transfer function, if you calculate, then the dominant pole location will be this one, but actual required one is this one. That means there is a slight decrease in the value of this one. Then what is the effect of this one? This is zeta omega n, right? Then steady state error will be 1 by zeta omega n, sorry, settling time. So that means if it is reduced, means settling time will be slightly increases. So this is the drawback of this one, but we can adjust these two values, slightly changing the zeros and poles. So this is about designing uh, lag compensator. Let's have one example. So it is given that G of S. Last class, so we took one example, right? Similarly, the same transfer function, but a slight change in required parameters. This is your transfer function which we already considered for last class. But here the changes are zeta is equal to 0.5 and omega n is given 2 radians per second. Then now here in this case, let's assume your settling time is 10 seconds and kV velocity error constant, because this is a type 1 system, so it will be given the characteristics are specifications are given with respect to velocity input, that is kV. Kv is greater than 5 seconds per second in years. So this is your specifications. Now you have to design a lag compensator to satisfy these conditions. So first step is you have to calculate whether first you translate these two transient characteristics into desired pole, that is ST. So for that what we need is zeta is already given, then we need to calculate omega n, right? Omega n is omega n is taking time into zeta, so which will be 4 by 10 into 0.5, that is 4 by 5 equal to 0.8 radians per second. So this is your omega n. So now SD is minus zeta omega n plus or minus j omega n into square root of 1 minus zeta square, right? That is equal to 0.4 plus or minus j 0.7. So this is your desired pole. Now you have to check whether this is already located on the root locus. So what we do, one way is you can plot the root locus and using the MATLAB or anything, and just we can check whether this is there on the root locus or not, or otherwise what we have to do, we have to calculate the angle efficiency. Angle criteria, if the angle criteria, if you see angle deficiency is 0 degrees, that means this is already in the root locus. Let's say for example in this case, this is your ST is minus 0.4 plus or minus j 0.7. So there is a pole at origin and one pole at y minus 1 and another one at minus 4, right? Let us say this is the angle, this is P1, this is my pole 1, pole 2 and pole 3. So the angle contributed by pole 1 is equal to 180 degrees minus, this is the angle. So that is 180 minus tan inverse 0.7 by 0.4, right? This distance is 0.4. So it will be around 119.745. Now angle P2 is tan inverse. It is simply tan inverse because this is at minus 1 and this is 0.4. So this is equal to 0.7 divided by the distance from here to here, that is 0.6. It is 49.4, and P3, angle P3 is tan inverse 0.7 by 3.6. This is equal to 11 degrees. So the total angle contributed by uh, total angle from these pole P3, P1, P3 is total angle P is equal to minus of 119.745 minus 49.4 minus 11, that is equal to minus 180.4145. This means because of some numerical approximations, this is approximate, we can say that this is 180 degrees, minus 180 degrees, right? So that means the point, the desired point, what is the SD, this is already in the root locus. So what we have to do, we have to calculate simply the gain K to satisfy the transient characteristics. So K at this point, we can use using magnitude criteria, right? S by S plus 1 into S plus 4 magnitude at S equal to SD equal to 1. If you substitute the SD value in this equation and calculate the magnitude, then it will be K equal to 2.66. So the now what is the, with this controller K, what is the KV? KV is nothing but existing KV you need to calculate. Existing KV is limit S tends to 0, because the controller is a simple proportional control K into G of S. G of S is on the given plant. So this will be 2.66 by 4, that is 0.66. So this is the existing KV. But what we required is KV greater than 5, right? So beta is, now we are actually going through lag compensator design, okay? This is lag compensator. So beta is equal to now required KV K5 divided by 0.66. That is 7.5 is the KV. So the next step is we have to design poles and zeros, right? This is KV dash. KV cap is 5. This is a desired one. Now we have to choose zeros and poles for this compensator. ZG. ZG, let's assume as 0.1 and PC is equal to ZG by beta. That is 7.5 by 0. ZG is 0.1, right? 0.1 by 10.5. So which is equal to 0.0133. So the overall lag compensator is S plus 0.1 divided by S plus 0.0133. This is your compensator, and the overall transfer function of open loop transfer function is compensator. That means GC of S and G of S is equal to K into, where K we already calculated, right? But actually we need to calculate again the K because lag compensator, we already know that lag compensator, the gain of the lag compensator is close to 1. So we don't need to calculate K. Whatever we calculated from the first, that is enough. Yeah, this one you can take it, or even you can verify, that's an answer. So K is equal to K into S plus ZG by S plus EZ into G of S, which is equal to 2 point. This is the overall function. Okay. Now you can verify that KV at this point of time. Now KV is limit S tends to 0, Since I'm already included into the G of S into GC of S, this is equal to 2.66 into 0.1 divided by 0.01 into 4. So which will be, sorry, this is 0.133. So this is equal to 5.32. But what we wanted is greater, it is greater than 5, right? So this is satisfying. Now the overall transfer function it is satisfying both transient characteristics as well as steady state error characteristics. Okay, this is how you have to design lag compensator. So in the first class, what we did was we actually we designed lead compensator that satisfies transient characteristics. Now lag compensator that satisfying steady state characteristics. Right? Suppose if you want to satisfy both, that means the transient specifications and steady state specifications both should be simultaneously satisfied. So in that case, how do you design the controller in this case? Is it's called lead lag compensator. So in the lead compensator, the pole is left of the zero. I'm just going through the other slide. So lead lag compensator. So this is how this lead lag compensator satisfies both transient response characteristics as well as steady state characteristics. So lead compensator satisfies transient response, whereas lag compensator satisfies steady state characteristics. So if you require both need to be satisfied, then in that case you need to design a lead lag compensator. Lead lag compensator is nothing but lead compensator and lag compensator connected in cascade. So the designing steps here is, it is just similar to what I discussed at the end of double lead compensator, right? Like that here also. What you do is first you design a lead compensator as per the given transient response characteristics. Then you keep that one as it is, and then you design a lag compensator that satisfies the steady state error. That's all. There is nothing new here. So the overall lead lag compensator will be like this. This is corresponds to your lead compensator, and this corresponds to lag compensator. So it's a given that one problem actually, sir, example problem here, given that where g of s is s plus 2 into s plus s into s plus 1 by s into s plus 2 into s plus 4. So here the peak overshoot MP should be 20 less than 20%. This is as it is whatever we have, but together with KV is 10. So in lecture 1, we already met this design characteristics in the last lecture 1 class. So where the parameters are this one, gamma is 41.53 and corresponding alpha is this one, and KV and corresponding KV is 1.553. Now we have, but what is our requirement is KV is 10. So now we have, once we design the lead compensator as in the slides 1, lecture 1, then you have to calculate lag compensator by using desired calculating the beta. Beta is here is the desired one is 10 divided by 1.553. Then you will get this one. Next step is you have to choose the pole. Here we are actually taking the ZG is equal to 0.1, but sometimes you may need to take 10, 1 decade. That's what I told you, 1 decade below the real part of the desired pole. Then the corresponding PC is this one. So the overall compensator for lag compensator is this one, and the final controller is a both. This is K and lead compensator and lag compensator. So let's take one concrete example, right from the designing the lead compensator and lag compensator completely. Are you getting? Please unmute and tell me. Are you getting the design steps, right? So lead compensator is for transient response characteristics specifications and lag compensator is for steady state specifications. And lead compensator we need to compute. First of all, whatever the compensator, first we need to calculate the desired pole. Then from the desired pole, we have to design a lead compensator that satisfying the steady state for transient characteristics. Then lead lag compensator, then overall compensator. Let's here I'm giving one example problem that that teach you everything from one to one, end to end. What is the type of the system? Hello? What is this type of a system? G of S is equal to 15 by S plus 1 into S plus 3 into S plus 6. Silence. Can you unmute someone and tell me what is the type of a system for this G of S? Are you getting what I'm asking? I am observing from last first term actually everyone is very enthusiastic, and after that actually I am not seeing any responses from you. I don't know what is happening. Are you going through classes? What actually we are giving lectures notes before coming to the class, or you are completing all whatever we are teaching as of now? What is type 0 system, type 1 system, type 2 system? We already learned that the term 1 itself, right? Okay. So here the type of the system is number of poles of the open loop system at rate 0. Number of, that is number of integrators. Here in this, is there any pole at origin? No, right? This is the type 0 system. So for type 0 system, uh, what is the steady state error constant KV? For position error constant, yes, steady state error will be for uh, type 0 system. Kp is steady state error is 1 by 1 plus Kp, and other, this is this is non-zero Kp, and the remaining all are steady state errors are infinite. Infinite are zero zeros. So for type 0, for step input, the steady state error is 1 by 1 plus Kp, but the remaining all are infinite, zero, right? So what we have to do, given the specifications, what they has given is it has to have settling time of 2 seconds and maximum overshoot MP is 20%. And they wanted the steady state error is less than 2% for constant reference. These are the desired specifications of the system. Okay. Now what we have to do, first step is we have to calculate the SD. So from MP formula what is e to the power of minus zeta pi by square root of 1 minus zeta square into 100, right? From that, theta is equal to, if you substitute MP 0.2, you will get 0.456. Then settling time Ts is 4 by theta omega n. So since you know zeta, now we have to calculate omega n. Omega n is equal to 4 by 2 into 0.456. This will be 4.39 your zeta. Now SD minus zeta omega n by square root of plus or minus j omega n into square root of 1 minus zeta square. This is equal to 2 into plus or minus j 3.9. We can calculate this one. So this is your desired specifications. So the pole that satisfying the desired specification is this one. Then now we start with lead compensator to satisfy these desired specifications. So first step is we need to calculate the angle deficiency, right? So how do you calculate the angle deficiency? Let's plot pole 0. The poles here this is a type 0 system. We are having at -1, -3 and -6. And the desired pole is SD at -2 plus J 3.9. So this is angle P1 and this is angle P2. This is angle P3. So you can calculate all these things. Then total angle contribution at this point for this desired SD from all the existing poles are total angle P. I am calling this as the angle that is equal to angle P1 plus P2, angle P3 is equal to minus 224.27. I am not giving exactly because you know all these steps actually. How do you calculate angle by this time? So I am just directly putting those numbers here. So deficiency, angle deficiency phi is equal to minus 180 minus angle P. This is equal to 44.27. So since this is less than 60 degrees, that means that we can use a single compensator, lead compensator is enough. Otherwise, we have to design double compensator or triple compensator based on the angle deficiency. So since this is 60, less than 60 degrees, then the single compensator is enough. Lead compensator is enough. Now what we have to do here for this phi, first thing is theta. Theta is nothing but what is the angle from zero from origin to the desired pole, that is zeta, right? Cos theta. So theta is equal to cos inverse zeta. So zeta is 0.5. So that is equal to 62.86 degrees. Now using phi and theta, you have to calculate gamma. Gamma is 1 by 2 5 minus theta minus phi. Please refer to the last class lectures regarding this one. Then you will get 36.43 degrees. Then from this gamma, location of 0 for lead compensator is omega n, formula is there, sine gamma by sine theta plus gamma. So that is equal, that comes to 2.64. We substitute those values. Then PC is equal to omega n sine phi plus gamma by sine theta plus phi plus gamma. This is equal to 7.29. So overall lead compensator is K times K into S plus 2.64 divided by S plus 7.29 into 15 by S plus 1 into S plus 3 into S plus 6. This should be equal to 1 for magnitude criteria, right? Let S equal to SD. So after substituting this one, SD desired pole in this equation and calculate the magnitude, you will get K is equal to 10. You can verify all these values. No, so overall lead compensator is 10 into S plus 2.64 by S plus 7.29. Okay. So next step is we have to design a lag compensator to satisfy the steady state error characteristics. Here, what is the requirement for steady state error is 2% of steady state error for constant reference. This is your steady state specification. Since this is a type 0 system, steady state error, use position error constant is ESS is equal to 1 by 1 plus Kp, right? Non-zero stress. And it should be less than or equal to 0.02. 2% less than 2%, that is what the requirement. Then from this, what is the required Kp? Kp is around, this will be greater than or equal to 49. By solving this equation, you will get Kp should be greater than 49. So this is your desired Kp. Okay. They did not give directly what is the required Kp. In the previous example, they has given Kv directly, but here they gave the steady state in terms of steady state error they mentioned. So we need to calculate what is the desired Kp in this case. So that is solving by using this steady state criteria. The next step is we already calculated computed a lead compensator, right? From that, what is the existing Kp? So existing Kp, how do you calculate? Kp dash is equal to limit s tends to 0 k into g lead. I am saying g lead compensator into g of s. That is given one. So this is equal to limit s tends to 0 10 into s plus 2.64 by s plus 7.29 into 15 by s plus 1 into s plus 3 into s plus 6. So this will be 3.02. So now we have to calculate the lag compensator beta. Beta is nothing but beta is desired value Kp desired by Kp existing, right? Kp dash, that is existing. So this will be 49 by 3.02. So that means this is approximately 16.2. Let's take beta is 16. Now what I'm this time I'm using 10 0 location of 0 is 10 times below the real part of the desired pole. What is the desired pole location in the real part of the desired pole location is -2, right? So I am taking below that one, below 10 times below that one. That means 2 by 10, that is 0.2. So I am assuming my location of ZC is this one, for ZG. This is the lag compensator. Then the corresponding pole BZ is ZG by beta, that is equal to 0.2 by 16 will be 0.0125. So now the overall compensator, lead lag compensator. So we got the K as 10, right? Yeah. So K into G lead G lag of s into G of s. This is the overall compensator, overall transfer function of open loop transfer function, which is equal to 10 into lead compensator is s plus 2.64 by s plus 7.29 into s plus 0.2 by s plus 0.125. Now let us check whether the what is the uh, Kp with this overall transfer function. So Kp is limit s tends to 0 and s tends to 0, this part, right? That is equal to into g of s, which is 15. This is s plus 1 into s plus 3 into s plus 6. So that is equal to 10 into 2.64 into 0.2 into 15 divided by 7.29 into 0.0125 into 18. So this will be 48.3. So steady state error E of S is equal to 1 by 1 plus Kp, that is equal to 0.02 or 2%. So you are exactly satisfying the required steady state error constraint specification. So this is the overall transfer function of open loop transfer function of your compensator, lead lag compensator. Is it clear? Any doubts in designing? Hello. So that's all about our today's class. And if you have any doubts, you can ask now. So I will share you. Let me, so I will share you the surprise quiz link. Uh, so this is the link for your surprise quiz, and we have 30 minutes time. You can write it in a paper and send it to me. Upload into the GForm itself. Okay.